I think this is the most important kind of explanation, and the one that has had the least focus in the news media, is that around about 10 or 11 years ago, we partly privatized our electricity companies. So we sold off 49% of the three of Genesis, Meridian, and Mercury. Contact had already been fully privatized in the 90s. As a result of that partial privatization, we have had an absolute collapse of investment into new renewable energy. If you can chuck graph 3 up on board, seeing the graph that I'm about to show you has it's cumulative data for the 4 gentailers. So it includes Contact, the fully privatized company, as well as Meridian, Genesis, and Mercury. And that dotted line that you can see about a third of the way along the graph is the point at which they were privatized. There's 2 lines there. The darker one is investment, so new capital expenditure, new renewable capacity, if you like. And you can see as they prepare for privatization, there's a spike in investment. They finish off all the projects, and then an absolute collapse in that number. And from 2016 through to 2020, there is less than $250 million from across the sector in new investment. And this investment here includes new corporate offices, it includes new property acquisitions, as well as new generating capacity, right? There is no money going into this. The other line is dividends, right? That's cash profits that get paid out to shareholders. And you can see that those numbers basically go in completely opposite directions. And over that whole period, you're seeing in the order of $1 billion being paid out to shareholders. So we're not having new money going into generating capacity until around about 2021. And the energy industry is a really long game. You know, it takes years and years just to get these projects consented, let alone built. So you have to plan kind of probably about 10 years in advance. We had next to no investment taking place for the better part of 10 years, which means that we're probably a whole investment cycle behind where we need to be in terms of new capacity coming in.
So it's very clear, Ed, from that chart, just for those of you following at home without the benefit of the chart, that data shows that, you know, the government and other private shareholders have benefited hugely post-privatization, but we've systematically underinvested in energy, and that might help explain quite why now we're overpaying, or we're paying the price in terms of elevated electricity prices for that lack of investment during that near decade lack of investment in the energy market. Would that be fair?
Absolutely, yeah. And if you want to put that in perspective, there's a journalist named David Williams who did a piece on Newsroom where he got data specifically from those partially privatized electricity companies, Genesis, Mercury, and Meridian, the amount of money since the partial privatization that they had put into new renewable generating capacity, and then compared that to dividends. $1.4 billion of investment into new generating capacity, renewable generating capacity, $9 billion in shareholder dividends, 6 to 1, or more than 6 to 1 in terms of dollars going to dividends versus new generating capacity. It's been an absolute cash cow giveaway for shareholders.